To add text to your cell phone holder, you're going to click on the Annotation tab. When you click on the Annotation tab, you'll see several items under here that say text. We've got text annotation, and we also have just a regular text. Okay, we want to add we want this text. Okay, so I click on that letter A, then I come down to my part and I click on the face of the part that I want to add text to. So I want to add my text right here. So I clicked on that surface, and now it's saying, how high would you like your text to be? This is in millimeters. So 90 millimeters is pretty high. We probably want to put something like 9 millimeters. So I'm going to enter in 9, and it's saying, how deep should your text be? This means like if you want to engrave it into a part. Now the thickness of my part is 3 millimeters. So I don't want my text doesn't need to be 9. I'm going to make my text be 3, and I'm going to click on next. Okay, this is important. We're going to click on next again. We don't want to bevel. We're going to click on next again, but this screen right here is important. This screen is saying, how should the text be oriented? And watch as you see the letters here on this green block. When I go to back, you see how the letters lay flat on the object? That's how we want it. So you can play around with this. You can see there's left. We don't want it like that. Okay, no, we don't want top. We don't want front. We don't want right. Okay, we want the back. So make sure you click on back, and we're going to click on finish. So now we're ready to start typing the text that we want to appear on our phone holder. And in this case, I'm going to just type in Carver Road Middle School. Carver Road Middle School, and I'm going to press enter. Okay? Actually, not enter. Carver Road Middle School, I'm going to click on my part. And you can see now my text is there. Okay, let's position this so we can see it a little better. Let me go to I'm going to go to let's see, the front. Nope, it's not the front. We're trying to find the view with our text visible. Oh, it's not the left. I think we're getting close, though. We're going to go to the right. Okay, so here we can see the text that we've added. I'm going to do a fit scene. And now we're ready to, straighten this text out, make it look nice. I'm going to click on the text to select it. You can see this little text box here. So I'm going to pull this text box, Carver Road Middle School. Okay, so maybe we do only want it to be, just 2 lines. We'll say we want it, Carver Road on the top line and middle school on the bottom line. Now, the thing that I'm going to do next is I'm going to click on Center Justify, Align Center. Okay, when I click on this, okay, it's basically just lining up Carver Road in the middle, and then middle school is going to be lined up in the middle. And now I'm going to take and I am going to use the triball positioning tool. I'm just going to grab that and pull it over a little bit. You can kind of see I'm playing with it. Okay, so we've got Carver Road positioned right here, and I'm going to click off of my triball. So Carver Road is looking pretty good here, Carver Road Middle School. But now, in order to get this to show up when we 3D print it, we need to carve out these letters. We want to make these letters be carved out. If you look here, okay, these letters, looks like these letters are sticking out of the surface. So we need to do a couple of things. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on Tools. We're going to click on Operations, and we're going to convert to a solid. And what that's going to do is that's going to convert those letters that we just added, which are still currently selected because they're blue. If they're not blue, if they're like this, it's not going to work. So you have to first click on your text over here to make sure that your text is selected. Then you go to Tools, then Operations, and under Operations, Convert to Solid. When you have Convert to Solid selected, you're going to click on Fit Planar Surface, and then you're going to click on Fit Curve Surface, and click OK. And it has converted my text to a solid part. And it looks like it's gone. Okay, it's not gone. If you click a couple times, okay, you'll see there it is now in the background. So I clicked, completed that command. Okay, it moved it around. Okay, now that it's a solid part itself, we're going to have to reposition it where we want it to be. So to position it where we want it to be, we're going to use our triball tool. So we're going to select the text. We're going to select our triball tool. And if you click on this push pin right here, you'll see we can slide this up and bring it on top of our cell phone holder. Okay. However, we're probably going to need to get it exactly positioned in a corner. And to get this positioned exactly, there's a couple of different things we can do. But if we want this to be like dead center in our cell phone holder here, we're gonna have to take a couple extra steps. So I'm going to turn off my triball tool at this time. I'm going to hide my cell phone holder, which means this part number 1 right here, which is my cell phone holder. I'm going to click on Hide Selected. Now I'm just left with a text. So it looks like my text is just floating here. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to put this text onto a part. So I'm going to drag a block in here, and I'm going to right click on this block, edit size box. For the width, I want it to be 70. For the height, let's make it be 40. And for the length, let's make it be 3 and click OK. Okay. So you can see we now have a surface that we're going to add this text to. So to add this text to that surface, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on my text. I'm going to use my triball tool. I'm going to right click here and edit this position. I'm going to say 2 point. I'm just going to click on the end point right here. So now my text is exactly on the edge. Okay, it's exactly on the edge. So I'm going to click on this push pin. I'm going to drag my text over. I want it to be centered. So I'm just going to drag it over. We're going to kind of just make it look nice right now. So I've drug it over. I am actually going to click on, is this the right? Yep, it's right. So now I'm going to click on this push pin, and I'm going to grab and drag our text up. I'm just kind of trying to center this on here. Now that it's a solid, okay, we're gonna center this the best that we can. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna turn the triball off, and I'm gonna click on my block again. And what I want to do is I want to take the push pins on my block. Let me do a fit scene. I'm gonna take the push pins on my block, and I'm gonna narrow my block so that my block is lined up. Okay, now my block is the exact width of my letters. Let's go ahead and we'll do the height too. The height is not as critical, but if we do want to center it by height, maybe we want it to look nice and centered. So I am basically adjusting the height and the width of this box so that it's the same height and width of my lettering. Click OK, or just not OK, but click down here in the view screen. And you can see we now have our letters on this box, okay, that we can position. And we're going to be able to move, we're going to be able to move this around. Okay, but the problem is, you'll see if I click on my box and my tri-ball tool, if I move this, you'll see that these don't stay together. So that's really, we want them to stay together so we can position the block in there nice and centered, and our letters will be positioned nice and centered. So I'm going to hit Control Z. Just wanted you to see that. So that's the reason why we need to add these so that they're one piece. So I click on my block. I'm going to go to Feature, and let's see here. Okay, so my block is green. Okay, notice when my block was yellow, Boolean is not an option. Okay, I'm clicking on it until really we want it to be blue here. That means that is the selected part. So it's selected. We're going to select Boolean. And now it's saying, what do you want to add? Okay, so we want to do a union. So I'm going to click on my lettering here. And I'm going to click the check mark. And now we have one piece. Okay, this is all one piece now. So you'll see as I click this, the whole part is selected because I did a Boolean add. So essentially, okay, this all became one piece. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring our cell phone holder back by saying Show All. So my cell phone holder, now I can see my cell phone holder. And we want to move this part here. Okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a tri-ball. I'm going to right click on this center ball of the tri-ball, and notice, okay, you may have to orient your orbit so that you can see that center ball. I'm going to right click on it, but we need to push the space bar. So push the space bar. Notice how the circle around it turns white. When that's white, that means that we can change where the tri-ball snaps to a part. So we're going to right click when it's white and say we want this to go to, if we say to midpoint edge, okay, and then we click up here on this edge, okay, our tri-ball goes right to the midpoint of that edge. So we're going to push the spacebar again, and we're going to make the tri-ball so that when we move the tri-ball, the whole part comes with it. So we're going to, with the tri-ball blue, we're going to right click and we're going to say to midpoint. And now if I say to midpoint edge and I click on this edge, you'll see that it brings our letters, and our letters are now perfectly centered on our part. Perfectly centered. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is let's say we want the letters to be centered vertically between the top and the bottom of our part. Okay, what we need to know is we need to know the length of this line right here, of this edge, and we know that's 85. That's 85 millimeters is the length. So since we know 85 millimeters is the length, okay, if we want to center this halfway or about halfway, you'll see when I click on this push pin and I drag down, okay, I can enter in a dimension in this box right here. So if I enter in 40, for example, and press enter, okay, we've moved 40 millimeters down from the top. Now, before we can position it, I guess, so that it's dead center, we would need to know the distance or the length of this block. So let's look at this block right here. So as I look at this block and I go edit size box, I can see that the length, or actually the height of this block is about 20 millimeters. So we're not going to say that somebody's eye can see 0.3 millimeters. So we're going to say 20 millimeters high. And if we know that 45 is the middle, we would actually want to just bring it down. We would want to bring that part down 35. Okay, so let's do this again. So we're going to click here, tribal. We're going to right click. We're going to go to midpoint edge, and we're on the midpoint of our edge. Boy, I'm not sure why that is offset behind it so far. I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to do spacebar again. Turn it white. Let's snap this to the midpoint edge again. So I'm going to right click here. I'm going to say to midpoint edge. And this time I want to do the midpoint of this edge right here. So our tribal is now snapped where we want it. Spacebar turns it blue. Now we can right click and we can say to midpoint edge. And then when we click this top edge, now it snaps our text right where we want it. And we said we wanted to go down 35 to get right in the middle. So let's see what that looks like if we drag this down a distance of 35. Hit enter. Okay. So now we're looking at our text here. Okay, we said that that was 20. So half of 20 is 10. And we really wanted to come down 45 to find the middle. So coming down 35 should be right on the middle. So the last thing that we're left with is how do we engrave this into our part? So we're going to click on this and pull it down. And you can see how much you want to pull it down. If we want it to be engraved like 1.5 millimeters, or maybe 2 millimeters. Okay, if we want it to be engraved to a depth of 2 millimeters, we'll enter a distance of 2 right there. And we're going to need to do one other thing. We're going to have to hide our original cell phone holder again. So I'm going to right click on it over here in my scene browser and do hide selected. Now we're looking at just our lettering. We need to take off this back part of our letters. So we're going to extrude to get rid of this back portion of our Carver Road Middle School letters. And we want to click on this surface right here. We're going to remove material. We're going to click on finish. And now we'll do a rectangle. This will be pretty easy. We'll click right here and we'll click right here and we'll click finish. And you can see that by doing that, okay, we can real quickly get rid of the back. Okay, so now we're going to bring back our part. So our cell phone holder, we want to show that. So we're going to do a show all. And look at that, guys. We can see where the letters are going to appear. Okay, Carver Road. And we said that they're sunk in 2 millimeters. So they're sunk 2 millimeters into the surface. We need to remove the material because we can still see the letters. These are solid letters. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click the base, which is our cell phone. Okay, we're clicking our cell phone holder. It's blue. This is important. You have to be clicked on your cell phone holder. Then you come to Boolean. Okay, this time instead of doing a union, we want to do a subtraction. Okay, we want to subtract everywhere that these letters are. So we're going to click on these letters. And now we're going to click on the check mark. And it's going to run, and look at that. So we are left with Carver Road Middle School engraved in our cell phone holder, perfectly positioned right in the middle of our holder. I know that was a lot of steps, but if you want perfection, okay, if you want it to look perfect, you need to follow these steps to get it centered exactly, precisely, etc. And that is a tutorial on adding text and engraving text to your cell phone holder.